everybody, welcome inside the Rockwall Sports Center Yellowjacket update. I'm Chris Curtis, joined by the voice of the Yellowjackets, Billy Quinn, head coach of the Rockwall Yellowjackets, now going to the area round for the third time in 3 years, Coach Rodney Webb, and then this guy, Caleb Broach. You kind of had a good game. I want to go LeBron-esque, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8 touchdowns on Friday night, man. How did that go for you on Friday?
Well, I just got the ball, and our O-lines were opening up holes, and I was just hitting them and getting upfield.
Absolutely. With those 8 touchdowns, you became the 10th highest scoring player in Texas football history. You're the offensive player of the week from the Dallas Morning News. I just saw you got a retweet from none other than Deion Sanders. I mean, kind of a big weekend for you. Kind of talk about how all this feels right now.
It just, I don't know. It's just, I pull up Twitter, and there's just notifications right here, and this morning I was just scrolling, and I looked, and I saw Deion Sanders, and I was like, checked, made sure the blue check was right next to his name. I was like, that's him. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy.
That's awesome, Coach. You know, you had some great running backs. While you had Chris Warren, who had some 4 or 5 touchdown games, but Caleb's 8 touchdowns on Friday. Something special, especially when you guys really needed to pull out in that second half.
Well, sure, and we were in a dogfight in that game, and in a game like that, there's no time for frivolity or experimentation. You gotta go with what is working at the time, and clearly our running game was clicking on Friday night, and Caleb was having a great game. He's just such a patient runner, and he's got tremendous vision. And a lot of times, initially the hole is not there, but you just wait a half a count, and it materializes. And he's really good at finding the hole. And talking about the 8 touchdowns, I really had no idea. You would think maybe the head coach might pay attention to what's happening in the game, and I do, but I do lose track of how we've scored touchdowns and who scored. And it occurred to me in the fourth quarter that I thought, I think he's maybe scored several touchdowns tonight. And so I asked him in the press box, how many touchdowns has Caleb scored? And I'm thinking maybe 5 touchdowns or something, and they tell me 8, and so that's pretty shocking to me.
There you go.
Well, I lost track too doing the game up at the booth. And by the way, I tweeted just so I'm sure my tweet was right up there with Deion Sanders, wasn't it? Pretty close.
Up there.
You have a blue check, right? You have a blue
I think
check?
so. I'm pretty sure I do. I'll go back and check. But anyway, as we're doing the broadcast, I shortchanged at one point midway through the game, and I think I said, that's his 3rd touchdown of the game, and the guy's going, that's his 5th. And I was like, holy cow. And so as this is going, did you keep track? Did you know how many you had, or did you start losing track?
After every touchdown, I went back to the bench, and Jeremiah Deason, he'd just come back there and be like, that's 1, that's 2, and he just made that trip every time, and I was like, okay, I have 6, I have 7, oh my gosh, I have 8, and he'd just come back, he'd be like, are you tired? Because I'm tired, I've been running back here the whole game. And I'm like, wow.
Well, let me ask you, Coach, a little bit to go to the defensive side. Yeah, Copperas Cove did kind of throw everything at you with a number of trick plays, onside kicks, things like that. And I think their mentality was, they knew that they didn't have the talent, so, let's just go, punch the gorilla in the mouth and let's throw them everything we got. What did you see that they were doing? Because they were running on the Jackets defense in that first half. It was kind of a misdirection a lot. Was that the thing that was kind of catching the defense off guard at times?
Now, I think the biggest thing Friday night was we really underestimated their speed.
Okay.
When you see a team, when you scout a team, you don't. It's hard to really get a good gauge of how fast they are. You see them on film. It's hard to really get a good gauge. And I think the biggest thing that we had to sort of catch up to, especially in the first half, was just their overall team speed. And once we caught up to that, we did a better job. But early in the game, they had their as any good coach will try to do, is get their fast players in space, and they were able to do that, and we had a hard time tackling them. So, but they've been a high-scoring offense all year. They've done that to almost everybody they played this year, and but we were able to make adjustments and sort of catch up to their speed in the second half and shut them down.
And the cool thing is that, hey, Caleb, you scored 8 touchdowns. Now go play defense, because we need you out there to make some plays too. So what is that like when you have to go back? And also you're returning punts. I mean, do you get tired, or is it just so much adrenaline going that you just don't really realize it?
Well, I really don't have time to get tired. I mean, if I can be out there in a crucial time of the game, then that's what I'm going to do, and just try to make an impact on the game.
Caleb, I know I talked to you and some of the seniors before the year started. Y'all were super proud to be a part of that team last year that went undefeated and made it to the 3rd round. But you guys said you kind of wanted to start your own little legacy going on here. You started 0-3, Now you've reeled out all these wins in a row, and now you're in the area round. Tell me how this has kind of turned around for you guys and how this team is reacting to y'all's leadership and the coach's leadership and how y'all really turned the ship around.
Well, before the season started, we knew we had talent, and just the 0-3 start, we were just like, we play tough teams. We've been just hit in the face and just got back up, and we're fighting now. So as we started winning, everybody built that confidence, and all our leaders just really stepped up, and we just said, hey, y'all follow us, we're gonna get y'all there. Like we just destined to win. I guess that's the
awesome.
way to put it.
And Coach, I know I annoyed you last year so many times each week when I interviewed you saying, what do you say at halftime? I mean, you just got to be a book that you write because these guys come out and they come out swinging hard in the second half. What was said in the locker room on Friday night? Was anything different said, or is it just same old adjustments and going back to work?
Yeah, I think people probably overestimate the number of adjustments that happen at halftime. You can't go in at halftime and change the offense or change the defense. You make little adjustments, and they're really very minor tweaks. So we did a couple of things at halftime offensively in terms of formations that we felt like would give us a better chance to continue moving the football. Defensively, we made a couple of minor adjustments to take away one of their zone replays. And that's really all you do. Halftime is much more than anything about taking a deep breath, regaining control of your emotions, and kind of hitting the reset button when you need to. And so that's really, I would love to tell you something more that happens in that, but that's pretty much it.
You can't get a quote book from you from halftime speeches
No,
or
not
anything
really.
like
Yeah,
that.
not really.
All right, well, let's look ahead. We have Jesuit now in the area round. 2013, y'all played them, lost 46-26. Then last year, the little revenge game, 48-27. So now you got your rubber match this Friday night. Jesuit had Horn had over 500 yards against Jesuit this
Right.
past Friday. Actually, Horn lost to Jesuit with a 4 turnovers. So
Right.
obviously protect the ball, and you're going to get your yards. So kind of tell me what you look for in Jesuit on Friday.
Well, they're a very sound team on both sides of the ball. They're very, very efficient offensively. They throw and catch very well. They block very well. They're not a big penalty team. They're not a big turnover team. Very methodical offensively. And so when you turn the ball over 4 times against a team like that, your odds of winning are very, very minimal. So turnovers are definitely going to be very important. Defensively, they are very, very good up front. Their defensive line is stout. Their linebackers are stout, and so they're very, very good against the run, and they play very conservative in the back end. They're not going to give you a lot of big plays, a lot of deep opportunities, so you have to execute against them down the field. Horn played pretty well the other night. They did gain a lot of yards, but between turnovers and misfires in the red zone, the game got away from them really after about 2.5 quarters.
Let me ask you this, Coach. And congratulations, because you've advanced further than Cedar Hill and Trinity.
Trinity, right?
Yeah, and Coppell. And so those are some pretty big schools that you've gone further than. Do you obviously it's a shocker with the Trinity and even the Cedar Hill losses in the first round. Is this something that you talk to the team about when you can just give the example of, hey, it's the playoffs, it's all new, everybody's starting off 0-0, we got to maintain the focus and not assume, even like a game like Copperas Cove, you can't go out there, I mean, as you're sitting there watching it, you're like, man, Cove is coming at them. Right. You know, is this something that you bring up with the team at times during the week?
Yeah, we talk about just the finality of the playoff, your playoff life, and how it truly is sudden death. And you cannot afford to go out and play a bad game, because one bad game ends your season. And really to carry that point further, one bad practice during the course of the week can set you up for a bad game. One bad quarter of the game can cost you. So it is very, very important for us at this time of year to really be hitting on all cylinders, not just on game night, but on every day during the week leading up to the game.
And quickly, I do want to bring up one other, going back to that game, I want to give Matt Jones credit for stepping in and having a solid game and stepping in for Will Reed, who couldn't play. And talk a little bit, you talked about, you call Matt Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
And give us a background on that.
Well, we actually drew some blood from Matt last year and had it tested, and he does have Jedi blood, so it's actually a kind of a DNA thing. No, we just we call Matt Luke Skywalker because he's got kind of an it factor, and he can go. You know, most of last season as the backup quarterback, and he got minimal reps as the season went on. Yet when his number was called to come in the game, I think we scored 61 and 63 points in his 2 starts last year. And then he comes in spur of the moment in the Garland game, when Will got hurt in the first series, and we scored 37 in the first half. And then he comes in and starts and plays the whole game, and we score 65 on Friday night. So he definitely has an it factor. He's one of those guys that has the ability to step up and with minimal repetition and make great plays.
So the
we're
force
really
is
proud of him.
strong with this one.
The force is strong.
Okay.
And I, by the way, am his Obi-Wan Kenobi. So.
Right. Nice. So we can see the robe and the hood at some point?
Yes, at
Okay.
some point. I may
I
bring
look
that
forward
out
to
Friday
that.
night.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
Caleb, talk about Matt played quarterback on Friday, but kind of talk about Will. Even though he wasn't in the game, he's been a leader for this team. Almost since he was a sophomore. Kind of talk about what his leadership role was on the field. I know he was up there pumping you guys up and kind of getting in your ear and getting in Matt's ear and saying this is what you need to do. And kind of talk about how important his leadership role is, even when he's not playing.
Yeah, even when Will's not playing, in the locker room before the game, I was like, hey, just keep Matt encouraged. I'll do the same. Like he's probably nervous. It's his first playoff start, and he just did that. I heard Coach talking to him, like, what did you see? Like, how do you see the corners just falling back, all that kind of stuff. And Will just kind of reminded me just like another coach, and it's really encouraging to see that unselfishness.
Before the game, at one point, did you tell Matt, hey, I'll score 8 touchdowns, things will be cool? Did that come up at all?
A little bit.
Well, Coach, tell us what we're playing on Friday. I know it's already out there, but kind of tell us what we're playing and make your pitch to get all the fans out there on Friday night for you.
Well, we're playing at Kimbrough Stadium in Plano on Friday night at 7:30, and it's a great venue for a high school game. We're going to be the home team, so we're going to have a little bit more seating than we had at Wiley last year. But one of the really, really cool things about the 2014 season was the crowd we had against Jesuit in the area around at Wiley last year. And so we would love to see a similar crowd show up this year. We'd love to fill up Kimbrough Stadium. And, I don't want people to take for granted what's going on here because it is playoff season and most of the area schools are done. There's a handful of teams left playing, and we're one of them. And our kids have worked really hard. Our coaching staff has worked really hard to put a good product on the field. And, it's a great time to be associated with Rockwall High School. And the weather's supposed to be very, very nice on Friday night. It's going to be a little bit cool, as it should be this time of year. And it's going to be a great football game. So it's not that far away. It's about 10 minutes north of Firewheel Mall. And we'd love to see everybody come out.
I want to back up, Coach, a little bit about being one of the few teams in the area. Our district was 1 point away of just having Rockwall being the lone representative in the next round of the playoffs, with Rowlett winning, by 1. So this is a special time. And, it's weird to think that 4 years ago, this was an extremely rare thing that we're going to be in the playoffs. And now I want everybody to appreciate it, even though it's now been 3 years in a row that we're in the playoffs. But it is a fun time. It's a special time. And there's a lot of hard work put in just to get to this point.
And Caleb, any special food that you eat before Friday? Again, I know Billy needs to get on that to get him pumped up. So
Yeah.
any special things you do on Friday? Might score 9 touchdowns on this Friday? That sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, because 8 wasn't enough. It's like 9.
We got to go one more now.
It's just the which every Friday, which with the DBs in Coach Chatham's room.
All right,
We
we'd
gotta
like to
get you
thank our new
sponsored on that.
sponsor,
There you go.
Rich, to the podcast.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget, 7:30 over in Plano, and you can listen to it at www.rockwallisd.com. Guys, any final thoughts? Billy, we'll start with you.
Man, it's just fun time of year, and this is one of my favorite seasons, mainly because you get to watch this team, like we talked about numerous times, go from 0-3, and we know what that schedule was like, but to see a team stick together and peak and get to this point, even a microcosm in that Copperas Cove game, where things weren't going as expected in the beginning, but they just keep playing, keep moving, and then you get a solid win and you move on to area. So it's just been an outstanding year.
Coach?
Well, I'll just echo really what Billy said. It's just been this is the fun time of year, and it's not always fun in August when it's 102 and we're practicing and sweating. Even for the coaches, it's not always fun. And this is the time of year that this is really sort of the icing on the cake. So we are doing our best to appreciate the opportunities we've been given and relish the moment that we're in and hopefully make the most of it.
Caleb?
JFND.
There we are. We'll see you next Monday. And, of course, don't forget, it's www.rockwallisd.com. Coach?
Jacket fight never dies.